I'm finally ready to create the cover for this beauty journal, and I have scraps of fabric here that were basically the inspiration for the color, the themes, the things I wanted to add into the journal. So there's like the fabric, and then there's this photo that I absolutely love that I'm going to incorporate on the cover. And then I have these other elements too, and I was trying to figure out, you know, what would I want on the cover with these other things. And I have this painted book page. It's painted with black gesso, and then I just did some journaling on it, and I kind of really love how that looks with oh, I got my found words here too. Yay. I love how this looks. These I'm going to incorporate inside the journal, I believe, but something like, I mean, I do love the vintage color too, the vintage cover, the papers. And I could make it so that this flipped, and that way it's not lost. It's like another page. I was gonna glue it all down, but maybe not. I mean, I love the stitching and I love the fabric, and I want to see that. And then I think this will really pop out on top. You still can see the journaling, and I could take like a piece of this and put it over here. Maybe not. I do like the raw edge. I don't need to cover up these raw edges. I could put a little piece of this over here. I have a button. Where'd the button go? I have a button. Here it is. I think I might attach. Now I don't know. I'll get to that later. Right now I need to figure out how I want to adhere this. If I want to make it another page, then you could still see this beautiful stitching and the vintage script, vintage paper. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do first is, it would also be nice to read those words. See, I'm having a, I can make this flip. Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna glue the bird to this piece of cheesecloth. And I need to figure out how I want to adhere this page, because I would like it to work like a book page, but it's also quite fragile. I may have to cover this. But I don't wanna. All right, well, first things first, we're gonna glue him down. And I'm using Yes Paste, which I like to use with like photos and fabric. It tends to, it doesn't make anything wrinkle, like with wet glue, like with wetter, you know, more moist wet glues like gel medium, or sometimes even like a glue stick will make like the photo paper warp or kind of wrinkle. And Yes Paste does not do that with the photos, and so that's why it is my go-to. Oh, yuck. And I made a mess already. Love the fringe. I want the fringe and this down here. And I'm just going to center this, not center it because I want more hanging off the side over here. The yes paste will kind of go through here, so it's going to be sticky for a little bit. I'm going to set that aside. Hi, honey. Amelia is joining me on the table, but she's staying out of camera at the moment. I decided that I really want to be able to read this text, but I also want it on the cover. So I think what I'm going to do is adhere with some glue this strip of fabric to the edge here to just reinforce that edge. And then I can make it so this can flip open, and then I'll make it so that this can flip open. And then it could be another page here, and I could actually even put some more like images or something down here. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And for right now, I'm going to glue this onto here. And then on the back side, I'm going to reinforce it with some tape. And that's how I think I'm gonna do that. All right, let's get a glue book. I use old mailing catalogs for my glue. And I want the frayed edge out. Right. So, and I think I want the skinnier end at the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to spread the glue out on here. See how beautifully Yes Paste works with fabric as well. It will kind of, it can alter the appearance of the color for a little while, depending on the fabric. I've had it where it didn't change the fabric at all, and I've had other times where the fabric color kind of like gets darker from the glue. Okay, so let's take this like this. Switch it down. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so we're going to take it like this. Just have it reinforce this edge here. And then I'm going to take the whole thing up. It's still got glue on the edge there, on the back side. I'm not going to worry about that piece right now. I am going to take this one and glue it down. Just on the side here, so it'll like help to make a flap. Okay, now I'm going to need to let this dry. Probably overnight. What helps too is I'm gonna put some parchment paper down and put some like a bag of rice on top. In this little clip, I'm sharing my process of trying to figure out how to create the flap that I originally wanted on the front cover here. And as you'll see later in the video, I end up omitting that flap. It just was too complicated. The paper's too flimsy. But for right now, I'm trying to figure out the flaps, and I'm going to use some Yes Paste on the outer edge of the cheesecloth that the photo is on and stick that down here in this part of the video. And then I will set some rice and parchment paper down and rice on top of that and let it sit overnight to adhere well. And now here you see that I've removed the rice, the parchment paper still underneath to protect the papers, and I'm sticking down my found word. Next up, you're going to see me attaching a little flip tab on the outer side of the cheesecloth, and I'm going to use my stapler, and I try it one way with 3 staples and it just didn't work right, and so then I take it all off and then I glue it down with 1 staple, and I'm really happy with how that turns out. And then after that, I use some Yes paste to adhere my found words permanently instead of it just sitting on top. I was going to use gloss medium, but I changed my mind. I didn't want it shiny. I just wanted the Yes paste to hold those words in place. And I'm going to put on a little bit of music here until the next clip. You gonna help me? Oh, Leo. What a good boy, Leo. Okay, so last night I worked on putting this cover together and ended up, I should have trusted my instinct to begin with. And while I love this flap and I want this, but this ended up needing to be glued to a piece of watercolor paper to reinforce it because it was so flimsy, and then I ended up gluing that down to the vintage paper. I put the fabric underneath, so this is now my cover like this. I didn't need to do the tape here that I did to reinforce, so I'm sad about that not looking exactly how I want it to, but if you turn it the right way, you don't really see the tape too much. So lesson learned there is listen to my instincts on that. Okay.